Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is actually going to be 2010 DVD recommendations from, the independent promotions from the United States and mainstream as well. Just want to give you my recommendations, and eventually I'll do something about, Japanese wrestling in Japan, some shows that are definitely worth checking out. Probably not the best guy to give you my recommendations from Japan, probably AMC N1, Honor Hammer, or Ichiban Pyoso Hammer, or Ichiban Pyoso, and guys like that probably would do a better job with it. But at the end of the year, I definitely want to pick up some of the essential shows, and then I'll do a recommendation video as well for that stuff. But yeah, let's get right down to it. Let's start with Ring of Honor. First show of the year is SoCal Showdown. This was a good show, very, very underrated. It felt like a PWG show, but it was a nice, friendly atmosphere, really good stuff. Aries and Liger, the main event with all the tag teams was great. Definitely recommend checking this out. And then we had the 8th anniversary show. Not a great show from top to bottom, but it had two awesome matches. You had Davey and El Generico, which rocked the house. In the main event, Tyler Black defeated Austin Aries to win the ROH World Title. It was amazing to see that live. It was a great match. So, then. All right, next up we have the Gold Rush. The Gold Rush is pretty mediocre. I mean, it wasn't a great show at all. It was actually kind of tough to sit through, but there was still some good stuff on it. I wouldn't say it's the worst show of the year. It's definitely not like an awful show, but pretty good main event, kind of a mediocre to okay undercard. So that's the Gold Rush. Then we have Epic Encounter 3. Which is a really, really good show. You know, a great main event with Kenny Omega and Davey Richards, one of the best matches of the year. Everyone needs to check it out. It's an awesome match and a pretty solid undercard. Not an amazing undercard, but still pretty good. So yeah, Epic Encounter 3, definitely recommend it. Next up we have From the Ashes. Pretty good show, pretty good to great. A lot of people think it's kind of overrated. Briscoes and American Wolves. This is their best match, in my opinion. The best match that I've seen from them so far. An awesome main event. Definitely the best match from the WrestleMania weekend, which was kind of disappointing for a WrestleMania weekend, in my opinion. And then you had some awesome undercard stuff. Kevin Steen and Kenny Omega was really good. It's a good show. Phoenix Rising. This is pretty much just done to set up, the Big Bang, but it's a fun show to sit through. There's nothing amazing on it, but there's nothing bad on it. It's just a solid show, but it's just kind of lackluster for a WrestleMania weekend show. But it's understandable because they had the Big Bang, which was a pay-per-view the very next week. Big Bang was pretty awesome. I mean, actually the live pay-per-view presentation of it was kind of weird. You know, how the main event was featured all Lucha guys. I wasn't a big fan of the way they booked this show, but like I said before, all the ROH matches delivered. The main event with Aries Black and Roderick Strong was awesome. The Kings Wrestling, the Briscoes, two amazing matches, two great match of the year candidates on this show. So yeah, I definitely recommend the Big Bang. Even though from top to bottom, it's kind of an awkward show. All right, next up we have Pick Your Poison. Pick Your Poison was it was good, actually. It was really, really good. I'm a lot higher on Roderick Strong, El Generico than most people are. You had Tyler Black and Kenny King, which is pretty underrated, and then you had I'm sorry, not the Briscoes yet. American Wolves and Dark City Fight Club, and the Dark City Fight Club's best match so far. And then we have Bitter Friends, Stiffer Enemies 2. Awesome show. Everyone needs to check it out. Definitely recommend it. It's probably the second or third best show of the year so far. So yeah, definitely get your hands on this. Then we have Civil Warfare. This is where Honor Hammer 26. I mean, the most memorable thing about this was when Kevin Steen kissed Honor Hammer 26. But besides that, the show pretty much just gives you nothing really special. It's okay, there's nothing bad. It's easy to sit through, but I wouldn't call it a great show. Next up we have Supercard of Honor 5. It's awesome. I was there, and yeah, I mean, there's just so much good stuff from this show. It really delivered above expectations. I would say this is almost as good as Death Before Dishonor 8. I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but I say it's pretty close. And then we have the awesomeness that was Death Before Dishonor 8. Show of the year, pay-per-view of the year. This is the best DVD you could buy from 2010 so far, so definitely get your hands on it. And then we have Hate Chapter 2. I don't have the Bluegrass Brawl and Salvation yet. Eventually they'll be coming in probably next week. But yeah, this is a good show. Kevin Steen, El Generico, the rematch was pretty sweet. It was good. Main event was pretty good with Kings of Wrestling, the Briscoes, Sarah Ray and Awesome Khan got involved. And best match of the night, American Wolves and the Young Bucks. So yeah, Hate Chapter 2 was a pretty good show. I'd probably recommend it. Alright, so let's talk about TNA now. TNA shows from 2010 really quickly. Genesis. I thought Genesis was pretty good. I thought Angle and AJ Styles was a really, really good match. A nice follow-up to the Impact match. I liked it even better. And overall, the show was mediocre, but it was okay for a TNA pay-per-view. And then we had TNA Cross the Line, the 3-pack. Awesome, you know, this is definitely worth the money. You get Turning Point and Final Resolution 2009, two of the best pay-per-views of 2009, and then you get Against All Odds, which featured AJ Styles and Samoa Joe in the main event, and some other. It was okay, it wasn't awful. And then we had Destination X. I thought Destination X was pretty good, actually. I thought it was pretty solid. You know, you had the Generation Me, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Ultimate X match, which was awesome. I thought Angle and Kennedy was pretty underrated. I mean, it was a fun show, actually. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't amazing, you know. And then we had Lockdown. You know, I'm not that high on Lockdown. I thought it was kind of awful, actually. I just wasn't a big fan of it, but you know. Angle and Anderson was a match of the year candidate for sure. So it is worth it just for that match. So it's definitely worth the money because it featured TNA's best match of the year so far. So, alright, so let's talk about WWE from 2010 so far. I thought the Royal Rumble was pretty weak, actually. I totally overrated this when I did the review of it. But yeah, when Edge won the Rumble, I think it was a mistake. I think it was the wrong decision. I think Edge... He's been very, very stale since he's come back, and I don't think the Royal Rumble victory did anything for him at all. Like, if anything, I think it probably hurt him. And you know, he just wasn't ready for the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, he's obviously he's having a tough time with that Achilles injury. All right, so next up we have Elimination Chamber. This is okay. The two Elimination Chamber matches were good, but you know, is this something that you should spend your money on? Probably not. You know, you might as well just pick up the Elimination Chamber anthology because you get, you know, the two matches on that set. So there's no reason to pick this up. All right, so we have WrestleMania 26. I thought this was kind of overrated. You know, I kind of overrated it. I don't think it was a great WrestleMania. It was okay for what it was. I mean, main event was awesome, but you know, everything else on the card kind of under-delivered. So. And then we have Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules is pretty good. You know, a pretty good show. Almost better than WrestleMania, in my opinion. So, if you want to pick up one WWE DVD from this year, non-WrestleMania, this would probably be it. All right, so let's move on now. Let's move on to Evolve. Evolve promotion. This is, you know, Gabe Sapolsky's former... Gabe Sapolsky was the former booker for ROH, and this is the promotion that he's booking now. It's called Evolve. So, yeah, Evolve 1, a lot of people do not like this show. It's probably not for everyone. It has an awesome main event, though. Ibushi versus Richards, match of the year candidate for sure. But you're probably either going to love or hate this show. And then we have Hero versus Sadaka Evolve 2, which is okay, pretty much on the same level as the first one. I mean, it felt very, very indie, so once again, not for everyone, but, you know, if you love independent wrestling, there's a lot of good stuff on here for you. Then Evolve 3, I thought the promotion really, you know, started picking up with Evolve 3. It wasn't a great show, but still some pretty good things on it. I liked the main event. I liked some of the undercard matches. Hero versus Fish was good. You know, I was very, very impressed with Adam Cole. I enjoyed his match. Enjoyed some of the up-and-coming younger stars. So yeah, give it a shot. And like I said, Evolve 4. Evolve 4 is definitely the best Evolve show of the year so far. Everyone, check it out. The main event between Danielson and Fish. I would say this is the best Bryan Danielson match from 2010 that I've seen so far. So definitely give it a shot with Evolve 4. All right. So next up, let's move on to PWG really quickly. We have Kurt WrestleMania. A lot of people kind of overrated this. I mean, it's not an amazing show, but you know, you get to see RVD, Chris Hero, and Roderick in the main event. Thunder Liger and El Generico had a good match. I mean, it's a loaded show, but just slightly a little bit overrated. I will agree with that. All right, so next up we have PWG As the Worm Turns. This was great. This is probably the second and third best PWG show of the year. Featured arguably the PWG match of the year between Omega and Richards. So yeah, definitely worth a look. And then we had PWG Titanica. This is great. Another great show. Roderick and Davey had an awesome match. Briscoes and what was it? The Young Bucks had an amazing match. It's probably the second best show from PWG this year. Great show. Then we had DDT 4 2010. This show was kind of overshadowed from last year's DDT 4, which was awesome. This one didn't quite live up to last year's standards, but it's still a pretty great show. This is where El Generico and Paul London defeated the Young Bucks to finally win the PWG Tag Team titles, so definitely recommend it. And then we have PWG Deal, probably the weakest show, but it's still pretty good. But if I could pick one that you should probably not pick up, this would probably be it. But it's, like I said, though, it's still pretty good, though. And then we have PWG 7, which was awesome. definitely PWG show of the year, featuring Bryan Danielson, featured a crazy main event. Davey Richards and Chris Hero, one of the best matches of the year so far. So, and Scott Law's retirement match as well. So that's PWG 7. All right, so let's move on to Dragon Gate USA. All right, only three shows I have from the promotion. Mercury Rising was decent, not amazing. Awesome main event, though. Pretty much just get it for the main event. Fearless, a lot of people do not like this show. It's still pretty good, though, just kind of underwhelming compared to the Enter the Dragon pay-per-view from, Dragon Gate's first pay-per-view. And then we have Open the Freedom Gate. This came out in January on pay-per-view. Featured two awesome match of the year candidates, Davey and Yamato, and the Dragon Gate USA tag match. Two great matches there. So I would definitely recommend this. This is the show to pick up out of the three. Open the Freedom Gate. All right, so let's move on to Chikara. Wow. Okay. So yeah. So first show of the year was called The Touch of Class. This is mainly just like a storyline show, but it's great though. This show is the total package. Has everything on it. So I definitely recommend this. This is good. The mid condition was pretty average, but as far as storylines go, you definitely you might want to check it out. But I probably wouldn't recommend it to new Chikara fans. Same thing with this one. World of Comforting Illusion. Alright, so yeah, and if you want to get Chikara's most underrated show of the year, I would say this is it right here. So yeah, definitely check this one out. It's definitely the most underrated Chikara show of the year. And then we have King of Trios. So if you want to get any shows from Chikara from this past year, I would just recommend just getting the whole King of Trios. Like if you want to get 2 or 3 shows, this is it right here. King of Trios Night 1, probably the weakest one, but King of Trios Night 2 was awesome. This is probably Chikara's show of the year so far. I would say the Brooklyn show is actually the show of the year, but that's not out on DVD yet, the Minami Toyota show. But yeah, this would be it right here. King of Trios Night 2, and then King of Trios Night 3, featuring the Colony and the BDK, which is an awesome match. Probably Chikara's arguably their best match of the year. So yeah, definitely check it out. Alright, so next we have Anniversario Elf. Kind of a lot of mixed feelings on this show. I've seen some people give it 8, some people give it 7.25, some people give it 7. Yeah, kind of disappointing compared to last year's, but I thought it had an awesome match between Incoherence and the BDK. That was an amazing match with Frightmare pulling up onto the Raptors. That was an awesome spot there. So yeah, Anniversario Elf, some good storyline stuff in the show. A pretty good show actually. I would actually recommend it. Better than some of the other Chikara shows for sure. So then we have We Must Eat Michigan's Brain. This featured Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. It was a solid show. Not one of their best shows of the year, but it was okay to pretty good. So, and then we have Chikara's Faded Scars and Lines. Good show. Really, really good stuff. Pretty underrated. One of their best matches featured Bryan Danielson and Tim Donst, which was awesome. You could argue that as Chikara's match of the year as well. So then we have Chikara Source Rex. Very, very hyped. I don't know. I just, out of that indie weekend, or that, they had that huge indie weekend at the end of July, I felt this is the one that kind of needed to over-deliver more so than any of the shows. I just didn't feel like it did, but it's still a great show. It's definitely one of Chikara's better shows of the year. Featured an awesome main event. It was good. I'll probably give it like an 8.0, which is still a pretty good to great show. So, and next up we have Young Lions Cup Night 1. Don't get this show. If you want to get any of the shows from Young Lions Cup, definitely get 2 and 3. This is pretty much just a setup show or a warm-up show just to get Frightmare into the finals. So yeah, and this didn't have as much talent on it as the second night had. So definitely probably stay away from this show, guys. And oh yeah, one more show. WXW Shoot Star Wrestling. Bryan Danielson in 3 matches. Felt very, very MMA. If you love MMA, definitely check it out. It's really, really good stuff. Yeah, someone asked me, I think it was Indie Attic. Indie Attic is great so far. He's really, really good. So definitely check him out. Eventually I'll plug him in an upcoming plug video. But yeah, PWG, he wanted to know how many PWG shows I have, so I'll just show you really quickly. This is my total PWG collection featuring the non-2010 shows. So this is it right here. So there you go.